Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
A killing spree from East Bexar County to Austin. A San Antonio man in custody tonight on accusations he murdered his parents yesterday. 34-year-old Shane James also accused of killing 4 more people in Austin.
He is currently in the Travis County Jail on capital murder charges. We've been following this story as it has developed since last night. Our RJ Marquez joins us live outside of the Bexar County Sheriff's Office with details about James' history with law enforcement, RJ, and we understand that includes a few visits from Bexar County deputies within the last year.
That's absolutely right, Steve and Myra. Still many questions after that press conference from Sheriff Javier Salazar and the district attorney here, Joe Gonzalez. So the biggest takeaways, as you guys just mentioned, were Shane James Sr. had multiple warrants here in Bexar County and previous arrests in the county here as well for misdemeanor assault during a domestic violence incident at the same house where that double murder took place last night. The victims were the parents of the suspect. We learned that today. They are 55-year-old Phyllis James and 56-year-old Shane M. James Sr. Their bodies were found last night at a home in the 6000 block of Port Royal. Sheriff Salazar said the last contact anyone had with the parents was around 10 p.m. on December 4th. That's the night before those killings. Then a neighbor called looking for the parents around 6 o'clock yesterday, and then they called deputies, and that's when they made that gruesome discovery. But this was not the first time that deputies had been to that house. In fact, the sheriff said that deputies arrested James back in January of 2022. He was released from jail in March after that arrest, but then cut off his ankle monitor a day later. Deputies then went to the home again in August of just this year, so a few months ago, while the suspect was having a mental health episode. He had those warrants out for his arrest, but deputies did not determine that he was an immediate threat. And they tried some de-escalation measures, and they spoke to the parents, but then they ended up leaving after doing all of that. Sheriff Salazar defended his deputies' actions that day.
What I saw them speaking to them as the professionals that they are, it appears they were making every effort to avoid a violent confrontation with what they could tell was an unarmed man in the nude. That is a no-win situation for them.
All right, the sheriff also said that deputies, after that incident, did not go back into the house until August of this year, and that was that incident we talked about, and of course they went back last night. The sheriff says that they still don't know exactly what time that James murdered his parents. He said the window they are looking at is around 10 o'clock December 4th to 9 a.m. yesterday. He's asking anyone with information to call them at the sheriff's office. Reporting live from BCSO headquarters, RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
All right, RJ, thank you. KSAT Investigates had confirmed a few hours ago that James was bonded out of jail on those misdemeanor assault charges by a member of the Texas Organizing Project, or TOP. The group is an advocate of bail reform and has bonded out Bexar County inmates who cannot otherwise afford bail, including those charged with violent offenses. Tonight, a TOP spokesperson confirms the organization will review whether that is the best approach moving forward. And they said they are profoundly saddened by the murder spree. Yeah, we actually just received a statement from the Texas Organizing Project on this situation. It reads, quote, "We want to make clear that TOP, the Texas Organizing Project, has a thorough and rigorous screening process in place to assess individuals who are eligible for our bail program, with a focus on assisting with misdemeanor offenses. James was deemed eligible based on our criteria at the time. However, TOP has had no interaction with James since March of 2022. Quote, "We acknowledge that our assessments cannot anticipate the future actions of individuals. We are committed to conducting a comprehensive internal review of our program and processes," end quote. Lots more to follow as that story develops. Other news we're covering today, day one of the murder trial of a man accused of killing a 4-year-old child in a drive-by. Quentin Phillips is one of 3 people charged in that case that dates back to 2017. Erica Hernandez shows you some of what the jury saw today as the prosecution lays out its case.
An AR-15 caliber 223 5.56 round, single round struck to Earl Whitley, sometimes called Little Earl, in the head, killing him instantly.
4-year-old DeIrvion Whitley was playing video games with his brother when gunfire hit his house. This was all on July 19, 2017 on Hub Street in the city's east side. The state telling the jury during opening statements that Quentin Phillips was in the car involved in the deadly shooting.
He was the driver of that vehicle. Also in the car were John Chapman, Terrell Chase, and Mr. Todd Hill.
This was all a part of gang violence going on at the time on the east side, the state saying the FBI was investigating a gang associate of Phillips on surveillance when they caught the moments leading up to the deadly drive-by. This video showing several men in front of a home on J Street. At one point, you see an AR-15 being passed around. There's also a shot of Phillips with the pistol. Then the men get into two separate cars, one a Chevy Malibu, and Phillips gets in the driver's seat. That is when the state says they drive off to go allegedly commit the drive-by shooting. The state has up to 11 witnesses total in this case, including DeIrvion's mom, who is expected to testify at some point. If Phillips is found guilty, he is facing up to life in prison. At the Cadena Reeves Justice Center, Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Your power bill could be going up. The San Antonio City Council votes tomorrow on the final approval for a CPS energy rate hike. If they give the go-ahead, the 4.25% increase to the gas and electric rates would take effect in February. Garrett Berger talked with some CPS customers who aren't thrilled with that switch being flipped.
For the second time in 2 years, CPS Energy is looking for a rate increase, which it says would raise the average residential bill by a little under $4.50 a month.
Everybody's costs are increasing. You know, your own costs at home are increasing. And I think most folks reasonable enough to understand that our costs are increasing too.
Which is exactly the problem for some customers.
On its own, $4.45 doesn't sound like much. It's less than 2 gallons of gas in your tank, or about what I paid for this gas station lunch. But it's not the only stressor people are facing.
Just like everything else is going up, except our pay.
The food, you know, you can't even, with 2 bags, you're already paying $50.
Not everyone is concerned.
Right now, it wouldn't be such a big problem, but maybe later on, because I'm on a fixed income, I think it might affect me.
But roughly 1 of every 6 CPS customers is already behind on their CPS bills. Most are residential customers, like Joe and Estella Castro, who told us they had to prioritize what to pay during the pandemic.
What kind of effect would higher electric bills have on your family?
Well, what happened in our families, we won't be able to buy the food that we need because it's going to cut off from the food that we need to for us to be able to pay for our bills.
CPS Energy officials say the current rates can't stay where they are. And some folks are okay with the increase, even if they're not thrilled.
As long as we're getting something out of it.
We'll find out tomorrow morning if the City Council is okay with it too. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
At KSAT, we spend a lot of time telling the stories of domestic violence survivors. But in Courtney Friedman's series, Loving in Fear, one group of survivors has been hesitant for years to tell their stories. Until today. Migrants often threaten that if they turn for help, they'll be deported. Today, Courtney sat down with a brave young mother who wants other migrants to know you can ask for help. We'll have more on that story coming up a little bit later in this newscast.
Let's take a look outside with live cam. We keep racking them up. We got so many good sunsets to rank this week. Adam.
Yes.
Where's this one stack up?
We do. This is good. I mean, good to great. But it's not the perfect 10 that we had Friday night and again on Sunday night. Those were perfect 10s, especially Friday night. Sunday was maybe like a 9.75, if you ask me. Tough critic. You gotta be specific there. All right, let's talk about our. By the way, our time lapse is coming in, and we've got some great photos coming in on KSAT Connect, and I'm going to share them with you in a few moments. Temperatures today: 46 in the morning, 69 in the afternoon. Our morning temperatures will be on the rise in the days ahead, so prepare for that until our cold front arrives midday on Saturday. Right now, we're 64 in Hondo and Pleasanton. 59 in Kerrville, 62 New Braunfels. Pretty comfortable outside. Just a little extra humidity slowly moving in, very slowly. 59 officially at the airport in town right now, but still many areas in the 60s. As we go through the evening, the high thin clouds will lead to areas of fog and low clouds for the rest of us tomorrow morning, with temperatures falling down into the 40s. We'll talk more about the changing temperature trend with that cold front in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. We'll check out TransGuide right now. We're going to go to I-10 at the Y near downtown, and you can see there's a 18-wheeler that looks like it's broken down. There are a couple of vehicles back behind it as well, just down to one lane right now at the exit at I-10 and the Y.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by Rodriguez Trial Law.
Hi, I'm Fidel Rodriguez Jr. with Rodriguez Trial Law. We'd like to wish all of our military family members a safe, healthy, and blessed Christmas season.
A local car repair shop with a questionable history. Tonight on the Night Beat, KSAT investigates the multiple allegations from customers of gross overpayment with little to show for it. This story and more on the Night Beat.
Every child needs a home, and it not only takes a village, but a giving community. And that is where you come in. 210-351-1363. That's the number to call to our KSAT community phone bank here to help support the Children's Shelter. Patrick Ortiz is the program director for the Children's Shelter. Thanks so much for being here this evening.
Thank you for having us.
These call takers, yes, are here to take questions, to take donations. Obviously, the Children's Shelter needs financial support, but you all provide so much support as well. There are programs out there for parents, for caregivers, for grandparents that may be raising their kids. How can people raising a child right now get some help for just the questions that so many caregivers have?
Great question. Thank you. I want to say it, that we are a family for your family. We have a family of services that are ready to support your family in whatever need they have. We have a nurse family partnership program. This first time mom, if you are less than 29 weeks, we have licensed nurses that will walk with you through your process, through your pregnancy, and that will help you get through where you need to get to. We have our iParent SA program, free parenting classes for any parent or any family that has at least one child, 0 to 5 in the home. We have our counseling center, who is amazing. They provide trauma informed cognitive therapy, and it's open for the community. We want you to come and visit us. And of course, our Compadre program. This is a program for fathers, and this is a great safe place for fathers to come in and get as much information and to be instructed in nurturing. And I want to challenge the fathers, if you're listening to us, give us a call, prepare yourself, get ready. And I want to let everybody know that please give us a call. We want to be that family for your family.
210-351-1363. I know that Bexar County has such a need for foster families. And we here at KSAT get so many questions about, well, can I adopt? Can I foster? What do I have to do? And sometimes people just don't really know where to ask. Is the Children's Shelter a good place to start?
Yes, definitely. Call us. The Children's Shelter would love to walk you through this journey of fostering, because it's not easy. You are opening your hearts and you're opening your homes to a new family member. So please give us a call. We want to answer as many questions as you have, and to ease this opportunity so that you could feel comfortable and knowing that we want to take the time to explain things to you.
Yeah, there's so many misconceptions about what fostering or adoption looks like as well. So these call takers here until 7 o'clock tonight, 210-351-1363. Call in to make a donation if you would like, to ask a question. Both are incredibly important to the work that you all do. Patrick, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Steve, back to you.
Thank you, Myra. Thank you, Patrick. Meanwhile, we're going to look outside right now, and a cold front on our way. But first, we're going to feel a bit of humidity, Adam.
Yes, we are. The humidity is going to be on the rise ahead of the cold front, and you'll feel the stickiness in the air all day Friday and even the first part of Saturday. We'll get to all that in a moment, along with where's the moisture at right now, what are our rain chances with the cold front. But first, you have to take in this beautiful sunset this evening. Another beauty, all thanks to those cirrus clouds high in the sky streaming overhead around 30,000 feet. Here's just a good sample of some of the beautiful shots that we got in our area from our wonderful KSAT viewers. We ask and you answer, posting these to KSAT Connect. Drone shot making it even more stellar there. This is around Stone Oak 1604, looking off to the west at the sunset. Even a few sundogs out there. Those are the little mini rainbows that you see, usually on the left or right-hand side of the sun. When you get the orientation just right with the ice crystals in these cirrus clouds, you get those little sundogs right there on the sides. Here's our time lapse from our Skycam, and I'm going to step off so you can see this in the full. Notice those high clouds streaming overhead from the southwest to the northeast, and once the long wave light reflects off the base of those, you get that good color. And so we're enjoying another beautiful evening here in South Central Texas. I want to talk about morning temperatures. They're changing. It's going to get warmer. You won't need your jacket. Friday morning at 60 degrees, Saturday morning 65 degrees to start the day. That's our average afternoon high temperature. So we will be warming up in the mornings until our cold front arrives midday on Saturday. That cold front will drop the temperature, the morning temperature at sunrise on Sunday down into the upper 30s. Even cooler on Monday. We could have the coldest temperature so far this season here in San Antonio, around 35 degrees. There's the potential that could be even cooler. So that's something we'll be watching and monitoring closely, as this cold front hasn't even made it into the Great Plains to tap into cooler air yet. Tomorrow we start at 48. Areas of fog with increasing moisture and low clouds to start the day, then some sunshine into the afternoon. Still 70 degrees for the high temperature. Afternoons aren't going to change much until we get into Sunday. Right now we're at 59 degrees, dew point of 40, so pleasant in terms of the humidity or lack thereof. But Friday and into Saturday, you'll really notice that humidity and mugginess in the air. Temperatures drop off a bit as you get into the Great Lakes. We're talking 30s, but even in the typically cold spots across the northern tier of the country, not all that cold right now. The Arctic air is still bottled up in northern Canada, but it does look like there are indications that could break loose within the next couple of weeks. Until then, we're just looking at this cold front that arrives midday Saturday, dropping our temperatures, as I mentioned before, especially in the mornings. Behind it, the afternoon highs Saturday, still 68. When the front moves through, we'll still be in the 60s. But Sunday, we're down to 62. And then Monday, 65 for the afternoon high. So what about the rain, the moisture? It's quiet across most of the country. You get into New England, a little bit of moisture there. Some very light snow and light rain. The focus for the rain has still been the Pacific Northwest past several days. 4 to 6 inches I've seen from the rain gauges over the past 72 hours in Washington and parts of Oregon as well. That's that atmospheric river that was coming on shore. They're going to get more around here. We've got a 10 to 20% chance in the days ahead. We're talking 10% on Saturday, 20% chance as we get into next Wednesday. Unfortunately, looking dry. Saturday, wind gusts out of the north at 35 miles per hour. You'll notice that by the midday.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
All right. You see at her a lot of the UTSA sporting events. She's built programs there that a lot of people can be proud of. But what does she think about the portal? We're talking about UTSA's athletic director, Mary.
Yeah, she has some great insight of how UTSA is specifically trying to overcome the portal and players leaving. The combo of the NIL and portal has just created a completely different culture in the NCAA, and Larry Ramirez talks with Lisa Campos about just that. And in minutes, the Spurs and Timberwolves tip off on national television. Will the added rest help San Antonio get their first win in over a month? Season is upon us, and the UTSA football team prepares to face off against Marshall in the Frisco Bowl in about 2 weeks. But before that, the program learned of its star linebacker Trey Moore making the decision to enter the NCAA transfer portal. Moore is coming off of a breakout redshirt sophomore season where he was named AAC Defensive Player of the Year. And with that, the Smithson Valley graduate sees greater opportunity elsewhere, which is a concern every program in the nation is dealing with. Larry Ramirez spoke with UTSA Director of Athletics Lisa Campos today, and Campos says while Moore's decision to leave is sad, the portal works both ways.
It is always heartbreaking. You know, we want every student, regardless if it's a student athlete or student, we want every student to start their career here at UTSA and end their career here at UTSA. So anytime we lose a student athlete, it is heartbreaking. But we know, again, that that's the way of the world right now with NIL, with transfer portal. And that means that we just got to move forward. And, you know, the transfer portal works in reverse, and we'll, you know, scour the portal and see who comes to UTSA. But again, I think it's been very, very few students who have left UTSA, and so we're really proud of that.
All right, when the San Antonio Spurs take on the Minnesota Timberwolves shortly, it'll be a matchup of one of the worst defenses in the league against one of the best. The Spurs are allowing 123.9 points per game, which ranks 28th in the NBA. Meanwhile, there's no team that holds opponents to a lower field goal percentage than Minnesota. San Antonio enters the game back at full strength, and Keldon Johnson says the 4-day break helped with that.
It's definitely huge, you know. As a group, we've been a little banged up here and there, but just to have time to practice with each other and, you know, really get the competitive juices flowing, even on the days that we're not playing, and sharpen up the things that we need to improve on was huge for us.
This game tips off in minutes. 6:43, the exact tip-off time. Spurs looking to end their 14-game losing streak.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy didn't feel well going into the team's practice facility this morning. After evaluation, McCarthy discovered he needed an appendectomy. Dan Quinn took McCarthy's place in today's media press conference and voiced his belief McCarthy will recover in time for Sunday's game.
Do you think that tough Irishman is going to miss this game? That's a big hypothetical. We'll let all that come to that. We're certainly anticipating Mike being back for the game. We'll handle it and hold it down for practices, and knowing him, he'll be online tonight, wanting to, you know, go through the red zone and third down and everything else. So yeah, we certainly expect him to be rocking, you know, by game day again.
The coaching staff added practice was already scripted, so there was nothing to worry about there, and they can credit COVID for that.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised, Cowboys, Eagles, if McCarthy's not there.
Me too.
Yeah. Thanks, Mary.
We'll be right back.